Yeah. So, off the bat, obviously, the main event is
Let's start there then.
One I can talk about.
This is UFC Fight Night Brunson versus Shahbazyan, which I love that name.
Badass. So just before this, I rewatched the Shahbazyan fight, his last one, because I just needed reminding. It's been a while since I've seen him fight. I've seen a lot of fights since then. I've watched roughly 90% of fights in the last 3-4 years. So there's a lot of things that I may not always remember. So I had to rewatch it.
The roster's big. Yeah, it's hard to get everyone.
Yeah, and the roster gets bigger and bigger every year, and divisions get deeper and deeper, and it's hard always to remember everybody. So I had to remind myself about this guy. I recognized his face as soon as I started watching it, and then when it got to the finish, I was like, I remember this guy.
So what fight did you watch? Did you watch him versus Tavares?
Tavares, yeah, that was his last fight.
Seriously impressive, considering he went 5 rounds with Izzy when Izzy fought him as an up and comer.
Yeah, so, seriously impressive.
Brad Tavares is a good fighter. He's very good.
Yeah, but he just amazing fight IQ from Edmen Shahbazyan.
20 years old.
22?
22 now. 22. So 20 when he got into the UFC though. That's insane. Yeah.
He'll be 23 in November, so
man,
he wants to be the youngest champion ever. And this fight, I hate to say it, but this fight, I think Derek Brunson is a little bit of a gatekeeper. And
he's a hell of a gatekeeper, isn't he?
He's a hell of a gatekeeper. But if you look at people like Whittaker, Silva, and Adesanya that get past him, these aren't nobodies. These guys are insane.
Maybe not Silva. So, that was a retirement kind of esque fight.
Yeah, and it was also a decision with Silva. But
Brunson won that fight as well. That was a bad decision. Brunson beat him.
The fight I particularly remember from Derek Brunson was Isreal Adesanya coming up, and he finished him in the first round. Albeit Derek Brunson looked really strong. His control against the cage. I'm sorry. His control against the cage
was better than yours with the phone.
Better than mine with the phone, catching my cable and pulling that out, I'm afraid. His control against the cage, his takedowns, great, but unfortunately Israel, his takedown defense is just amazing. And that was very much a fight between strength and technicality, and I think this is going to be the same. I think that right now we have a up-and-coming, very technical young fighter, and this is his gatekeeping fight to see if he can be ranked with the likes of Whittaker and Adesanya. So although a very, very tough fight, I do still see Derek Brunson as a little bit of a gatekeeper to that elite level of those kind of fighters. But his IQ from Shahbazyan in that fight against Tavares, just his distance, his piecing up, and then the way he hid that. I mean, it was a knee, and then he hit the head kick with the jab, boom, finish. It was just wow.
He has remember when I described Roger Gracie as basic jiu-jitsu? He has basic striking, but it's the elite of basic striking. He just does 1-2s. He just does a knee. It's not like Darren Till where it's feint. It's just he gets on with it.
I mean, he's got 11 wins, no losses, 10 finishes. One of
knockouts as well, right?
Yeah,
1 submission,
9 knockouts, 1 submission, and 7 of his finishes are within a minute and 12 seconds. Like,
I mean, the last 3 fights have definitely been inside 1 round against Bird, Marshman, and Tavares. I won't be able to read my notes at the moment without my glasses on. So this is all off the dome now.
Yeah, I've just sort of like...
He submitted Jack Marshman. Jack Marshman was the Cage Warriors middleweight champion, the Welsh fella, and he kind of lost my respect after he missed weight twice. I think twice, maybe 3 times. He missed weight a lot. He's just a podgy Welshman. He's a good scrapper, but he weren't anything more than a journeyman.
Was that also at middleweight?
Yeah, he submitted him. I think Marshman missed weight for it, and then he tapped him out in the first round anyway, so it didn't matter.
Because the other interesting thing is I look at Edmen as quite a small guy for this division.
He's still growing, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's only 22 years old, but if you look at his frame, he's nowhere near the likes of Whittaker, Romero, or Derek Brunson.
Yeah, the way Whittaker's put into his frame now, and that's how I feel. I feel Teal's still growing into the middleweight role now. He's developed as a man, but he's now going to be packing on the muscle. His body will adapt to that muscle instead of, because he cuts now to middleweight. He's not like, he was a welterweight, but he cut so much weight, but now he's cutting so much weight to get to middleweight because he wants to be a big middleweight now. The gorilla doesn't really work in middleweight.
No.
Yeah, not when you've got Jared Cannonier there. People like that.
How he does that cut, I have no idea.
He was just fat, I think, when he was heavyweight, and now he's just like a gym. He's like a personal trainer. He's just shredded. He's just got that look.
He's scary, is what he is. He's scary.
Yeah. He's super scary. So, Derek Brunson, you say gatekeeper. He's one hell of a gatekeeper. He's on a 2-fight win streak.
He's the toughest gatekeeper of any gatekeepers.
I think so as well.
But I still
have all divisions.
Gatekeeper.
Yeah. I mean,
I
do
he's
as
been
well.
in the top 10 for such a long time.
Pretty much all his UFC career.
But has never really peaked. He's never really.
I don't think he's ever broken top 5.
No, other people like Adesanya are coming up and going past him. So
he has a limited skill set. He's a striker, heavy-handed striker, and he's got good wrestling. Good wrestling. Nothing more than good for an elite level fighter. Anyway, I do think he is elite though.
The way I see this fight going is very, I can't remember about the takedown defense of Shahbazyan.
No one tries it.
I very much see this going to be Brunson trying to take him down and Edmen throwing a knee into his face and trying to keep him from doing that.
And creating distance. Yeah.
And then the only other
lots of footwork from Edmen.
Yep. And then the only other thing Edmen has to worry about is that left hand, because Brunson has got a hell of a left hand. And then he knocks them down. And I think most of his, I don't even know if he's got any clear KOs. Most of his wins are TKOs.
Brunson,
put you to the ground with his left.
He pushes you against the fence and finishes you kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes. Or like you slip up and then he just jumps you and you can't get back up. TKO.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things obviously for Edmen to watch out for, but I'm curious about this one.
I think if Edmen can do his little dance, as you said, like if he can do the dance around the octagon and keep him on the end of his length, keep him pressed like a Darren Till, like a Robert, like an Izzy. If he can there's a blueprint to beating Derek. It's there on paper. Keep him back. Use your footwork. Clip him. He does go down. He does go down.
Yeah. Izzy put him down.
Robert put him down. There's a fair few people.
Izzy did it with knees.
He did
because of the takedown. Because I think he stuffed 3 takedowns.
Yeah.
And then Izzy had his number after that. I was like, "You're not getting me." Like, no way. And just kept back and controlled the distance really well. And then just hit him with the knee, followed him up with knees, and then
But whereas Izzy is a striker that's moved to mixed martial arts, Edmen is a mixed martial arts, nothing else. He was Ronda Rousey's judo dummy when he was 14, 15 years old.
Yeah, I heard that on Chael's class.
So, he Ronda Rousey raves about him. Ronda, as much as people said, Ronda gets hate. People who weren't there from the start of Ronda, when I first saw her fight, not in amateurs, obviously, I've only seen that through documentaries, but when I first saw her pro fights, and John McCarthy was the ref back then as well, and then she moved to Strikeforce and fought Miesha Tate, and then she got obviously gifted the belt in the UFC against Liz Carmouche. People never saw how good she actually was. It was just, she was here, people were here, and then she never went past here. People just went like that. People caught up, and then she never progressed, and that's all that happens. That's just evolution of the sport. Same as Anderson Silva. He stayed at that level for so long, 16-fight win streak, whatever it was, and then Chris Weidman just got to here as well and got him. And that's all it was. And now everyone's here. Like Izzy's the next Anderson. The levels go up every year.
As the generations come, people figure out new things. It's like
people see how Ronda lost and blah blah blah. So there's a lot of hate on her because she's so outspoken and stuff. But same with the coach. The coach said, "Hey, Ronda's got good hands because he's a boxing trainer." So she just relied on her hands, and it's like that was just her mistake. It's not his fault. He's an odd fella. I think he's Armenian. She trained with a lot of Armenian people like Manny Gimburian, Caro Parisian, all these old Armenian guys you wouldn't have seen fight. They're like the Georges St. Pierre days, Kenny Florian days.
Before my time of watching.
Yeah, but they're little Armenian rugged. They're so good. So she used to train with those guys when she got brought into MMA. And now Edmen it's an Armenian name, Shahbazyan, I'm pretty sure. He's like of Armenian descent. Because he's like, he doesn't look Armenian.
No,
but he sounds it. He sounds it when he speaks
Armenian
English.
Heritage, perhaps.
Yeah, he's fighting out of the US because he's brought up here. But he's known as, is it the Golden Boy or something? So
it is the Golden Boy, yeah.
Yeah, so everyone thinks this guy's going to be the youngest champion. I think right now, this is the perfect fight for him. And this is what I kind of wish Darren Till had. I made a video about who's next for Till on the channel, and I said someone like Brunson. The winner of this should be next for Till. Because Till needs or even the loser of this, 2 losers. Let's have it. If Brunson loses this, I think Darren needs to test himself. Can you beat the gatekeeper middleweight? He was ranked 6th, I think, because he beat Gastelum.
Yeah.
The thing is, Darren got rushed so quickly that once you're in that top 10, you're in it. You're never leaving. You are known as a killer now. Same as Kelvin. Kelvin got in it and can't get out. If Edmen beats Derek, he is forever cemented in this top 10. He will never leave it. Unless he goes on like a fight skid.
Yeah, until changing division or retiring.
Yeah, and he's already said he's going to go up to like heavyweight and eventually heavyweight in his career because he's still growing. He knows he's going to get bigger and he knows he's going to get stronger.
I don't even think he's filled out in this division yet.
Exactly. So, he's a natural middleweight right now. He's not cutting. He looks great. So
he looks small compared to others, but then that gives him the space to grow into the next divisions as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think down.
I think Edmen's going to be a bad bet on this one. I think if you're going to put money on this fight, I would actually go. I think Derek is going to be Edmen's going to be a strong favourite. You will not win a lot of money betting on Edmen. If you're going to put money on this fight, I don't think Derek is a bad underdog. I think Derek could clip him and shock everyone, and Edmen go, "Oh, okay, I need to learn something. I need to go back to the drawing board." Yeah. And maybe he took this fight a bit too early, or he's just going to starch Derek, and we're going to be like, "Put him against Izzy, go, go!" Kind of like a Hamzat Chimaev, just like put him against Usman now. I don't care. He's not even ranked. He's not beating anyone. Just like fry him against the champ. Let's just see what he does. Oh, bug on my ball. I think, I'm actually going to stick my neck out and say an upset
with Brunson.
I think
Brunson. This happens to a lot of people coming up that they need that one fight to check themselves.
Brunson's on a 2-fight win streak, and he's looking decent in his last fights. He beat Heinisch and he beat who did he beat? They kicked him out of the UFC afterwards. The pretty boy Elias Theodoru, the guy that's a ring card boy, a Victor. He's got like hair care sponsorships and stuff. He's like a really pretty boy. He lost that fight and he was ranked. He was a ranked fighter, and the UFC cut him. I was like, everyone was like, "What? Why'd you cut him?" And they never gave an explanation.
Didn't find him entertaining enough.
I guess not, but he was a good fighter, really good. And Derek beat him.
It's still a business at the end of the day if you don't bring the numbers in.
But exactly. So he lost to Izzy 2 fights in a row after that. Wins. He's back on the. He's got 7 losses. He's got 27 fights. 27.
No shame losing to Izzy or Whittaker either. I mean,
no.
The best.
And he lost to Anderson. Like one of those losses is to Anderson. He beat Anderson. He did. That is, he lost the decision, but he won the fight. It's that kind of thing. He didn't lose any stock because of it. It's just a bad judge having a little moan. So you're saying
split decision?
I think so. Yeah.
I can't with confidence say Shahbazyan because I know Derek Brunson is tough. Obviously, I want Shahbazyan.
He's underrated. He's been made a fool by 2 extremely skilled people, so people think he's a write-off, and he's not. He's not a write-off.
But then you still have to look at, the CV of Shahbazyan and look at how he's been winning. Like, those stats are insane. I don't know anybody else that has stats like that with the 7 within a minute and 12 seconds.
Ngannou, I think, is the only other person.
10 finishes of 11 wins. This stuff is just crazy. 9, was it 9 knockouts? Yeah, 9 knockouts. That's just and the statistics are great. So
first round for someone. Is it first round for someone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this fight is going to be a finish. If it's going to be for Brunson or Shahbazyan, it's going to be a finish. And it's very
Agree.
50-50 to call. I'm looking forward to seeing what the odds are, the Vegas odds when they come out.
I reckon Edmen is heavy favourite. I think.
Just because of the momentum behind him.
Yeah. It's the hype train. The hype train's always good.
Yeah,
Van Zandt
right.
Van Zandt versus Michelle Waterson. I remember Van Zandt was like a -700 favourite, and I was like, you guys are out of your fucking mind. Bet on Michelle Waterson, and Michelle fucked her up. It's like Sage Northcutt, people like that. They just Mickey Gall. They've all got this hype. Edmen is obviously not those levels, but I'm saying when there's a hype train, the betting is not done by a bookie. It's done by the people, whoever bets. So they just see, he's steamrolling everyone. They all bet on him. Leaves Derek. Oh, he's a good bet. I'm gonna write my name next to him on my list.
This could easily be swayed as well by, there could be a lot of casual fans out there that might be betting, going, "Oh, who's this?" And then this sometimes, that's why sometimes we get very surprising odds when you look at things like, "Are you serious? You're discounting this person?" Because a lot of people that are putting bets on may not be as well informed, may not actually know. So sometimes, I don't know, but this one for me is very 50-50. I'd love to see Shahbazyan win because I don't think Brunson's got enough to ever be the champion, if I'm honest. I don't think he's going to get there. If Shahbazyan doesn't get this, it's a learning point for him. But if he does get it, that's exciting.
I think the only way he loses is through overconfidence. He thinks he's going to steamroll him and then Derek clips him. That's all it is. Like a Rockhold Bisping thing. Rockhold was so loose and like, I'll go and get you. And then Bisping clipped him left hook.
True. But Bisping came into that with 6 days notice. So it wasn't exactly, Luke had a reason to feel confident.
Yeah, and he'd already beaten him. Yeah, true.
Yeah, it was the second fight. But the other thing to add is Shahbazyan is a very patient fighter. He may get a lot of finishes in the first round, but if you watch him, he's not rushing for that finish. He is so patient. So
could you compare him to McGregor and the way he times the shots perfectly for the first round?
Yeah, his timing and precision is really good because the shots you see him take people out with are not big, heavy shots. So because he's not a big guy, he's a technical guy.
He's like an Izzy. He's not. He could cut like more weight.
Yeah,
I'm glad they don't. But
so it's.
I think that's a Lloyd. That's a Lloyd next to Edmen.
Shahbazyan.
Yeah. After we go through these fights as well, I'm going to go through the last main card pick'ems for the last thing because I only got one wrong.
You got right and wrong.
I only got one wrong.
You're good at this though. You are. We've been doing this between ourselves for years, and you've always been listening to your picks, and you're good at this. So anyone that's watching
MMA match, there's always one fight that fucks you. Mine heads up was the Gustafsson fight. Is the only one on that main card I got incorrect. Everything else I got right. I'll go through them.
That was unfortunate.
God's sake for Doom.
Do you have anything else to add on the main event?
Not really. I think we've covered it all. I think if Edmen loses overconfidence, Derek's going to bull rush him.
I think if he loses, it's not.
Derek only has one approach to fights: grit your teeth, gum shield bitten, and just swing. He has technique, he does, but he just kind of goes up, no elbows. He doesn't know what they are. Yeah. He just goes in and he just hits with the hooks. Just twists everything he has into hooks. I've never seen him throw an uppercut in his life. It's not even a jab. He just goes in with hooks and overhands. It's like a UFC game. He just goes for the knockout every time.
Yeah, just button bashing.
And if someone's there jabbing, they're going to outpoint him, that kind of thing, and he just loses. So, yeah, I'm going Brunson.
Very much the brawler against the technician again with this one.
It's another. Brunson's probably like, again, give me a brawler. Give me someone that can't box, please. So, yeah. But the co-main.
But the girls.
It's my MMA crush, Joanne Calderwood. It's Jo Jo. Everyone loves Jo Jo.
Okay, you tell me about this because it's been a while since I've.
I can only tell you really about Jo Jo. I only know a little bit about Maia. No relation to Damien as well. So, Jennifer. Let's start with Maia then because I don't know a lot about her. All I know is she has lost her last fight against Caitlin Chukagian. I can never pronounce her name. I think that's how you say it. Chukagian. Thank you. There you go. You know.
Caitlin Chukagian.
Yeah, who obviously got smashed by Shevchenko.
she was never going to beat that fight.
JoJo lost to her as well.
I will also say the fight between Chukagian and Maia was close.
It was close. Absolutely
I don't think
close.
Chukagian was a clear winner in that fight, which is why when she's going up against the killer, like Shevchenko,
Yeah,
she was never going to win that fight. There is a big difference in the division, unfortunately, between Burst and
everyone else. Everyone
Yeah.
else.
She's way out there.
She is the Anderson Silva of this division of the time now. The John Jones, the whatever. She's the Amanda Nunes, the Ronda.
She's above everyone.
She really is. So JoJo lost to Chukagian as well. I actually thought JoJo won that fight, but I am biased.
I don't remember that fight.
I'm seriously biased to JoJo
because you're in love.
Yeah, I'm just watching. No, not when she's fighting. Like she's really like Viking-y. She's got all like the Nordic tattoos on her and like the shaved side and all that stuff. And I'm like, but then as soon as she's out of competition, I'm like, But so Maia lost to Chukagian. She beat Roxanne Modafferi. I do not rate Roxanne Modafferi. She's super nice, but she's not. She's not good.
No. Her last fight was. I'm just not impressed by her, unfortunately.
And then Alexis Davis. Alexis Davis is well past her prime. She used to be good when she fought Ronda at time and all that, but she was good, but not anymore. Maia only wins, it seems, by decision. I think 13 of her fights are by decision, not wins. That is 9 are wins by decision. Like she doesn't. The early fights were like out of the UFC were submissions and knockouts and stuff. And as soon as she hits the UFC, it's decision, loss or wins.
She's reached the point.
She's just very passive. She fights out of shooter box in Brazil, so where Jose Aldo fights and stuff like that. So she's got that pedigree as well. She's got the legs, but it doesn't commit to them. Whereas JoJo is a Muay Thai background, hence another reason I like her. I like Muay Thai.
Of course, yeah.
She beat Ariana, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Lipsky, the lady that just got that savage knee bar. The knee bar on.
Oh Jesus! Yeah.
It's the really pretty lady. She's so good looking. She's called the Queen of Violence. Is her nickname, I think. JoJo beat her in her debut. She debuted in the UFC and JoJo beat her. It was decision.
When was that?
Last year at some point, 18 months ago, 2 years maybe.
Okay.
And she lost to Caitlin, split decision. I thought she lost that. Like Caitlin lost that. I thought JoJo won that. And then she won by split decision against Andrea Lee. Don't know how that was a split decision. She blatantly beat her, in my opinion. Biased, I know. JoJo was going to fight Shevchenko. Now.
Oh, Shevchenko's
injured.
Yeah.
Blessing in disguise, JoJo. Because let's get another win to that record before you add another loss.
Payday first.
Yeah, just because I know everyone wants to crack at Shevchenko, but and everyone thinks they have the blueprint or whatever.
Only one person I think can beat Shevchenko.
I thought Shevchenko beat Nunes on the second fight. On the second fight. I thought Nunes beat
the one.
Yeah, so that's the only competitive fight for both of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They need to fight each other, but Nunes is so much bigger than her. And it's not fair.
He went up in weight, so
Shevchenko is
much bigger.
She's too good. It's cheating.
Shevchenko has no reason to go up. Like if she, that doesn't affect her stock if she goes up and loses to Nunes. It's just not worth her time.
It's not, because then you 0-3 against her.
Yeah.
What's the point?
And
like she should be 1-1. Nunes didn't really throw much in the second fight, and I did think Shevchenko outpointed her, but there was they didn't really.
Nunes on that.
You like Nunes? Yeah, so there you go. Yeah. So it's not really robberies. It's not worth the third fight. She's beat her 2-0.
No. She's the female GOAT. That's it.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's on the Mount Rushmore if you have one, or should be.
Oh, yeah.
You need almost Mount Rushmore's not a good one to do because you automatically fill 2 slots with Hoyce and Amanda.
Yeah.
And then I want to put mate, some people don't put GSP on it. I do. He's my GOAT.
He changed the sport.
Mate, but do you put John Jones on it? I don't put anyone on it that has been banned by USADA or done drugs.
Anything like that.
Anderson cannot be on it because apparently he used them to heal his leg quicker. I can't put Anderson on it then. So John and Anderson are not on my thing. I put someone like Chuck Liddell on it. Plenty of losses. Change the sport. McGregor. Change the sport. Ronda, change the
McGregor's
sport.
got to go on it.
No, you don't
No,
have to go on it.
He does. I think McGregor changed the sport more than Ronda did.
I think Chuck Liddell changed the sport more than Conor did.
Who brought more fans?
Chuck. It's got to be Chuck.
More fans than Conor.
I think more fans, yeah, not more money.
Maybe we're talking eras here then, because Conor's era.
Chuck made it. You know? Chuck made it personable with rivalries and the actual fights he displayed. Conor brought that. Conor. Yeah, he's taken all this and he's used it and then done this. He's made an empire out of it, but he didn't do the foundation. The foundations were set by these people, by Hoist, by then Chuck, by then Randy Couture, by.
You need like an 8 people Rushmore.
You need a Last Supper of fighters.
Yeah, that's what it is. Forget Rushmore. Throw that analogy out. It's the Last Supper. We need 12 disciples.
And who's Jesus? Is that Dana?
Yeah, of course. He's the man that put it all together. Of course it's him.
Yeah, it's a Dana and the 12 disciples. That'd be better. Who's Tito Ortiz? Tito's Judas. It's got to be. Or Scott Coker. He's got to be the Judas. But yeah, there's not much to add to the JoJo fight, to be honest. That's it. I think JoJo's too good for Maia. I think JoJo goes for finishes. She uses her elbows, she uses her reach, she uses her knees. She likes the clinch game. She likes being violent. She enjoys fighting. People always say we're going to get a stand-up war with JoJo, and then JoJo starts lighting them up on the feet, and they go for a takedown. And because she's not insanely great on the ground, she's got good, decent jiu-jitsu, but she's not good at wrestling at all. Not at all. You take it down, you go for a takedown, you get it. That's just, she won't defend it. Maia's Brazilian, automatically going to be good on the ground. Not to sound too prejudiced or stigma there, but they are. It's
in their blood, isn't it?
It's in their blood, man. They just love it. So I see it going the distance because if you fight Maia, it goes the distance, unfortunately. That's how they all go. Yeah. Most women's fights do, to be honest, because of just the power they have. They don't have the lights out power, same as the flyweights and the bantam. Actually, I say that about bantamweights.
But then you do get finishes by submission and stuff as well. And bantamweights in recent fights have been just knockouts.
There's a couple of them, been knockouts. So I say that, but there could definitely be. Unless you got the baseball back leg of Shevchenko against Jessica Rai kind of knockout in it. But JoJo is capable of. She can do that. She lands a leg kick or a high kick. She lands a knee, something like that against Maia running in for a takedown. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see her outmaneuvering her, working her footwork around the cage. Low cut, go for that calf kick that everyone's doing. Teeps to the midsection, whip the gas her out, make her go into the third round and try and end it there. I definitely see JoJo winning. She'll be the favourite. JoJo would definitely be the favourite. It won't be by much. It might be a pick 'em fight because JoJo, a lot of people thought should have been like a plus 5 million against Shevchenko. There is, unless Shevchenko suffers a stroke in there. No, she'd still win. She'd still win. That's how good she is. She could have heart attack in that cage. And she'd be like, just defending against JoJo. So I love JoJo to bits, but she's not becoming champion while Shevchenko's there. So no, I think it was a wise decision to take a fight instead of wait. I think it was a wise decision. I think she wins it.
Yeah, I'll go with you with that with JoJo. I think it's going to take someone new to come up through the ranks. To go through these women and then get to Shevchenko. It's going to take somebody that we haven't seen yet. Yeah. It's coming into the UFC with already as an all-round fighter, or maybe someone with a similar experience to Shevchenko in a different sport that comes across, It's not. I don't see anybody else putting up much competition.
Someone with the merit of a Joanna Jędrzejczyk, someone that's been a multiple-time Muay Thai champion.
Exactly.
Coming in and that has developed a ground game that can outstrike. Yeah. You need a size advantage or something over to even have a start against Shevchenko. None of these girls are bigger than her. She's pretty big for that division. She's just not big enough for the 135s and the 145s. She's just the one that is her weight.
Not many are big enough for the 145.
No. What is it? 4 women? Felicia Spencer, Amanda Nunes. You got Megan Anderson, who I like, but she's not better than Amanda. She's not better than Felicia. Felicia tapped her out in the first round. So I like Megan though. She's really good, but she's not that good. She's naturally massive. Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is.
She has that frame, that height.
And cool tattoos. Very cool.
So the next fight, as we go down in the card, is the only other one I feel comfortable enough to comment on, being Vicente Luque.
Randy Brown.
And Randy Brown. I don't know a ton about Randy Brown, so you can fill me in on him. But this fight, it's what it's welterweight. And I'm just off the cuff going to say Vicente Luque on this one. I'm just going to say that out right now.
Okay. Who did you have for the last one, by the way? Was it Joanne?
Well, I don't feel like confident enough to
pick someone you've never seen of Maia.
Yeah. So I'm going to, and I do remember after you mentioned it about Maia's fight against Chukagian, I do remember, I wasn't impressed by either of them, to be honest. So I'm going to go with you and say Jo Jo as well on that. And then, so between Vicente Luque and Randy Brown, when I look at Vicente Luque's fights and I see his last 2 losses, I mean, we're talking over the last 2 years, maybe he's only had 2 losses, and they're against Stephen Thompson and Leon Edwards.
And he had a lot of success against Stephen Thompson. A lot of success.
Were they both decisions? I think they were both decision losses.
Yeah, Stephen beat him by decision, 2 rounds to 1.
I think maybe the Leon Edwards one was a decision as well. It might not be 100%
unanimous for Leon.
Yeah. Those 2 guys are top caliber of the division. So to lose by decision to those 2 guys is not a bad thing. Vicente Luque has also never lost by knockout. And Randy Brown, I see as someone winning by knockout. And Vicente Luque's last fight against Nico Price, savage. When you saw his face, oh my God. That was, I believe it was doctor stoppage because of the damage that he had done.
Nico,
Yeah, I can't remember what commission that was with. I don't remember where the fight was. Was that Jacksonville? Was that in Florida?
I won't be able to remember the venue. That's my mind.
I think that may have been in Jacksonville, Florida this year, when we had a few cards in Jacksonville because of the pandemic. I think maybe it was there. So it's not even, if it was in New York, doctor stoppages are more common. So to get a doctor stoppage, obviously his face was smashed to bits. So.
What about when he fought Mike Perry and bent Mike's nose that way round?
That photo is famous. The photo of Mike's face to smash.
That went to decision as well. Yeah,
but Mike Perry's.
He smashed Mike Perry. He showed Mike Perry his level. Mike Perry wants to call out Darren Till, and he's getting smashed like that against Vicente. Vicente's good.
Okay, but Mike Perry being Mike Perry's so tough. How many other people would that have been a TKO against? How many other people would have just been like, crap, done. I think Vicente Luque has got this, to be honest, because I don't even think he's ranked high enough as he should be. I think he should be ranked higher.
12. He's ranked 12.
I think he should be
not even
higher.
In the top 10. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? And Randy's not even ranked.
Exactly. So
it's a good fight for Randy Brown. If he wins this, mate, he get a top 10 easy next fight.
Oh, for sure.
Easy. He's coming off Wally Alves, who's very good. Wally Alves really good.
How do you see this going?
Randy Brown is going to get pressured. Vicente pressured Stephen Thompson. Not many people can do that. You think when Jorge Masvidal tried to pressure Stephen Thompson, he just got lit up. Absolutely got his cheekbone cut open, got kicked in the stomach, got his wheel kick, got leg kick, got knee kick, everything. Everything got thrown at him. And then he's got that lovely low hanging arm. So he just throws the jab from waist high. It's beautiful. Vicente managed to bite down, get through that with head movement, took a couple body kicks and got into the pocket to drop. He dropped Thompson, I believe, in the first round. Absolutely horrid fight to watch for Steve. If you're a Stephen Thompson fan, for that first minute, you're like, okay, no, not again. You're getting old. Stephen Wonder Old Man now. He's grey now. He's grey.
He's still a baby face though. So
he is. He's great condition as well. I don't know how he makes welterweight still.
He's also. Did he win the nicest guy belt? Well, they
they should have made. Yeah,
he is the nicest guy.
He really is. So. He's so nice.
His loss to Anthony Pettis when he was in the hospital, and him saying about waking up in the back room like, oh, I lost. Oh, I was like, his whole reaction was amazing.
He's like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, I got knocked out by a little guy. I've never been knocked out.
Yeah, that was a good shot as well by Pettis.
Yeah.
So it just shows how Stephen is that good as well. Vicente almost had him, almost. So
what I mean, Vicente's only 2 in the last couple of years are against 2 very high caliber guys.
Yeah, whereas Randy got. Now, I believe Randy Brown is the one that got hammer-fisted against the cage by Nico Price. Nico Price was doing this against
Nico Price did beat him, yeah.
By like hammer-fisting him upright. It was such a weird knockout. Randy was against the cage, and he was in a pressed half guard against Nico, I believe, and Nico just started smacking him in the head. Or it might have been Nico had him in a triangle or something, and just smacking him in the face with a hammer fist and knocked him out cold. It was so bizarre. I was like, what? Everyone was kind of shook by it. It was beautiful, but it was weird. That was his last loss. Then he's beaten, I've got it here. Let's see if I can read it without my glasses. Brian Barberina. Now, Barbara, however you pronounce his name. He's a rock and sock and robot, essentially. That's how he fights. It's just
in the middle, smash you till your head pops off.
Basically. And he beat him. He TKO'd him in the third. That's a good win for him because Brian's beaten a lot of good people. He's a real dog in the cage. And then he beats, now, I've got the name here because I didn't recognise him. Trimgi or Trimgle. Not sure.
Don't know.
No, I don't know what that is. But it was, anyway, Wally Alves anyway. So when he fought Wally Alves, round 2, submitted him. That was really good. Triangle choke as well. So he's got everything as well. He's got knockout power. He has submissions. He's proven that. Wally Alves is no joke again. He's very good. He's only lost 3 times, Randy. He's got 12 wins. Yeah. Vicente's lost 7 times. I don't know where those losses have come from. They must have been before the UFC as well.
5 were decisions.
Exactly. So he's learning as well from this. He's very experienced. Vicente is very underrated. He's very highly rated by a lot of people in the industry. A lot of MMA purists will go, Vicente should be in the top 10, but he just hasn't beaten anyone in the top 10 to put him there. He's like as good as you can get to a gatekeeper. If you can beat him, I know he's not the gatekeeper to the top 10 because he's not a top 10 fighter, but if you could beat Vicente Luque, you are seriously skilled. That is the way I look at it. I think Vicente, if he loses to Randy Brown here, I'd consider cutting weight to lightweight. He'd be in trouble because he's got to beat the likes of Randy Brown if he's going to make a advance into the top 10 and potentially top 5 in a few fights time. If you lose to Randy Brown, it's more like a roster filler. Sounds harsh, but no one ever looks at a card and goes, "Oh, sick, Randy Brown's on it." It's like who's he fighting? He's fighting Randy Brown. Okay, like with all respect to him, it's like he's not a wow factor. No one goes, "Oh, Randy Brown, yeah, I love Randy Brown." Whereas Vicente Luque, I see that name, I'm like, "Oh, sick, Vicente's on it," and he's not even in the top 10. I'm like, "Oh yeah, lovely."
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, it's like he's English. he's my English man. That's not English. He's Brazilian, but
Brazilian.
Yeah.
But also to add about the Randy Brown is he's a boxer, and Vicente obviously clearly can smash people's faces.
Yeah.
I don't think Randy Brown presents any problems for Vicente.
Not enough problems.
No.
So he's not going to show him something Vicente hasn't seen, like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So sure. I would be very shocked if this was a win for Randy. I would be shocked.
I would be too.
So for me, it's straight up Vicente Luque.
If the odds are close, I would put your house on Vicente. If the odds are really high on Vicente, it could be worth a gimme fight for Randy. But yeah, I'm putting my name next to Vicente here.
Yeah, I agree on that one as well.
We've got some fights that I don't know too much about with a lot of people here. So
that is, unfortunately, the rest of the card for me is I was sort of looking at it, especially the prelims. I was looking at them. The rest of it just
There's a couple. I know more prelim fighters than I know on the main card.
Well, Ray Borg is on the prelims.
Ed Herman's on it. Ed Herman's an old vetty. He's been around since like UFC 75, something silly like that. Honestly, he's been around for dog's years. He's like a Jim Miller or like a Diego Sanchez. He's just been there forever.
Yeah.
I've got an old DVD, UFC Knockouts like 4 from like 2006, 2005, and Ed Herman's the first fight on it. And he's like, him and his opponent are so knackered, and they just randomly throw like a punch like this, flicking the wrist, and he knocks him out. And he's like, he's a ginger guy with like awful tribal tattoo all down him. It's and like all around his chest and ribs. I think
that's a full era, isn't it? That's an era of the tribal tattoos. It's a very 90s thing.
There used to be a fighter called Dustin Hazlett. He used to like pull submissions off from video games when no one else would. He'd like do fucking rolls and Imanari roll kind of things and like flying arm bars and all that stuff and catch people in them. It was beautiful. And he had like tribal from hip to ankle all down one leg. And he had shorts like he used to ride up. So you just see his tribal legs snapping people. But he was good. He fought some good people like Tandem McCrory and people like that. But yeah, so it's Lando Venata, the Star Wars character, versus Bobby Green. Bobby, I don't know anything about Bobby Green. I know nothing about. I know he's got a head tattoo. That's it. I know a bit about Lando, but not enough to comment. I haven't seen Lando in a while. It'd be nice to see him fight. It'd be nice to see someone like Bobby Green, who I've not seen. I've just seen pictures of him, and he looks good, looks shredded, looks ready. He's got a decent record. Be nice to add someone to my list now. Okay, nice to see him fight if he performs well. I've seen Lando in a couple wars. Not much to add on him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, for the rest of these fights, for me, it's very much going to be exhibition. It's just going to be watching them to try and figure out like who they are, what skills they're going to bring.
Yeah,
I'm going to be very much listening to commentary and everything when they come out, try and get the history on them.
Yeah,
because
listening to John Anik's play-by-plays or whoever's doing it. It might be it might be Brendan Fitzgerald. This time, give John Anik a break.
Is this in the Apex?
This is in the Apex. Yeah. So I think the next three fights are, because it's this one, another fight night, and then it's UFC 252 with Stipe Cormier 3.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Sugar Sean's on that.
Yes.
Mate, I've already made a Twitter argument with someone where I don't think Sugar Sean's winning that fight. We'll go through that. Marlon Vera, he's fighting Marlon Vera. I really rate Marlon Vera, so I'm betting an upset on Marlon. Want to make some money with me?
We can talk about that closer to the time.
Yeah, me guy in Sugar Sean hasn't fought anyone yet, so
I'll give you that.
You're just hitting tomato cans over.
Yeah, but we could argue similarly the same with Edmen Shahbazyan.
Brad Tavares ain't a tomato can.
Okay, maybe not the last fight.
No.
But,
up until then, you could argue it.
He's not coming up. He's coming up now. He's just getting through those people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fighters that have got undefeated records that we've seen, especially in the last few weeks, that they're going to hit some real hard tests.
I think a few O's are going to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sugar Sean's is one. I think he's going to be smoking too much to realise what he's done.
I don't know. I think his head is screwed on. I think he had a lot of time away.
He had 2 years off, didn't he? Due to some stupid thing. Weed thing. And now it's not illegal, and now it's fine. How mad is that? As soon as he serves it, he's fine again. Same as Nick Diaz served his 4-year thing, and then he just said, nah, fuck it, I don't need to come back. Screw you guys, you killed my career anyway. So, mate, I hate it.
Well, okay, on the note of Diaz, McGregor has said he's accepted a fight, but it's not come forward as to who he's accepted the fight with. And I would love to see that Diaz-McGregor 3. I would love to see that fight.
I think
so. Who knows?
McGregor wins that one now.
Diaz is fresh. The argument you could say Jorge, but Jorge's not fresh right now. Jorge doesn't want that fight. Jorge's
saying Nate Diaz is fresh is very
well. He's not had a fight as recent as anyone else that's trying to campaign.
He got smashed by Jorge. He didn't win a round.
I don't think he got.
Anyone that said Nate Diaz was coming back in that fight, go watch it again. No, he wasn't. He was about to get ended. Jorge lit him up for 4 rounds. I think Conor would have a competitive fight with Jorge. So,
I think he would. I think Conor would. But I don't think Jorge's campaigning for that right now. Although that's the money fight, he's not campaigning for it yet.
Is it mad to say this statement? If Conor McGregor, in my opinion here, okay, I'm going to hide from this now. Any comments, people are going to be like, oh my God, what a stupid comment. Smoked. I'm going to get smoked for this. I think if Conor McGregor is in the right headspace and he has a full training camp, he beats every single lightweight right now. That's my opinion. Even Khabib. Because he was drinking the night before he fought Khabib last time. He went 4 rounds with him after having not fought MMA for 3 years, and he defended 9 out of 10, 11 takedowns or something. But the 2 he got taken down by, he got held down. He did so fucking well. Except for when he got hit in the 3rd round and dropped. But I really believe Conor smokes. I think he hits harder than Gaethje. I think he smokes Gaethje in a fist fight. Because
he's a lot more intelligent. His fight IQ is so much more than Gaethje.
How much does Tony Ferguson get hit in a fight with his chin up?
A lot. He gets hit a lot.
Conor would knock him out. He would knock him out. People say, no, if Tony survived, then, Conor can't go 5 rounds. He can go 5 rounds. People keep saying he can't. He can. He gassed in 1 fight. Give him a break. He can go 5 rounds. Who else is there he can't beat?
But the point you're arguing is, if he's 100% focused, if he is like completely...
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, he has to be in the
he's got so much money, he doesn't really care. So he's never really going to be...
He just wants to beat Khabib again. That's it.
Yeah, and he's not going to get that fight. Khabib's not interested. Khabib's going to go for
2 more fights. He said he's honouring his father's wish, didn't he? Yeah.
He wants to finish with GSP, which would mean
George went, I don't think so. No, thank you.
Yes, but then
his interview is over.
He has, I believe on social media, he has recently said, I need to think about this.
GSP would win.
And
GSP would win.
So the reason GSP is not being offered fights before is because, like he did the Bisping, he came in, took the belt, leaves. And then it just sort of leaves the division open, and it's. He
told Dana he would do that as well. He told Dana,
yes.
I might just come in and do that. And Dana was like, "Don't you fucking dare!" And he was like, "I might." And then he did it.
Yeah. So Dana's saying no, and so doesn't want to give GSP fights. But for Khabib, he would, because Khabib's going to walk away anyway.
Legacy
so
fight.
It's going to leave a vacant title regardless. So why not bring in GSP for that fight? Because regardless of who wins, they're both then going to walk away. It is just a legacy fight. If GSP wins that, then boom, cemented as the greatest of all time. And if Khabib wins that, it's like, holy shit, like massive argument.
But then people would argue GSP's out of his prime or this sort of thing.
You're right.
So there's no winning. Like, do you put Khabib on a Mount Rushmore?
That also means no losing for GSP.
No losing again. He has lost.
I mean, he doesn't lose. No, but he doesn't lose regardless. I mean, he comes into this as
I see. A lot
of people consider him
not losing record. Right.
Exactly. No stop loss.
I gotcha.
That's what I mean. He doesn't. He comes into this as on a lot of people's Rushmore, on a lot of people's cards for the greatest of all time. If he loses to Khabib, it's like, so what? He's not being active. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he'd be the first to say that as well.
Yeah.
Khabib, you are amazing.
So I think that fight's very likely. That could definitely happen. I think
I'd like to see it just because I want to see GSP back every time. I love GSP. When GSP fought Dan Hardy, that broke my heart.
He's got to drop a lot of weight though. That's the thing.
You get to lightweight? Nah, they'd catch weight for it. They'd catch weight. They'd go 170.
But what about the belt? GSP would want.
They want the belt. Nah, he won't. Nah, it'd be a legacy fight. He'd want fuckloads of money. Or he'd want a bad motherfucker belt or something like that. Goat belt. It's in the shape of a goat. The goat belt. John Jones comes down weight 170 to get it.
You know what would be amazing? I just want to see, for once, take away divisions and go like old school.
Open weight.
Yeah. Just
Francis Ngannou wins every time. Francis Ngannou versus Henry Cejudo. Just picks him up by a scruff and smacks him once and drops him again.
Not for every fighter. It's not for every combination of fighters. But
I want to see natural weight classes. Let's do what you walk around at. Let's
and
see
a 162, a 162 as well.
177, 162, something like that. Yeah. There's so many tweeners. Kelvin Gastelum, tweener. Got to put him. He's too fat for middleweight.
Too blown up. Yeah.
He's always undersized. He's never going to be there. Whereas if you put him at welterweight, he just damages his liver and kidneys and all his insides.
The drying out. Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good.
Trying to lose 20 plus pounds in water weight within 5 days, then to just throw it all back on is really not good for you.
And he's got a bad diet anyway. If you think Darren Till was a bad diet, he's just eating tacos and or whatever. Khabib ate, chips. Yeah, Khabib ate tiramisu. That's what
tiramisu.
Tony Ferguson calls him tiramisu, doesn't
he? Yeah.
But then he trips over a wire, and then Dana White said that's what he deserves for wearing sunglasses indoors.
It's really unfair for going back to the Khabib thing. It's really unfair that Tony Ferguson is now never going to get that fight. We are never going to see Khabib Ferguson.
Haunted fight. 5 times they tried to make that shit.
No.
Well, that's just their fault. It's their fault. Khabib pulled out twice, Tony 3 times, or whatever it was. It's like their own fault.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I hate them all.
That's bad.
So you got special mentions for Kevin Holland, Trevin Giles. That's the main card. Unfortunately, their 2 fights are not really. It's just the front 3 of the people I know. The rest of the card is kind of, let's just see what they're made of. Let's add them to the list. We'll be able to talk about them next time. Be a good one. So now, all right, for the main card though, who you going, Lando Venada or Bobby Green?
I don't know enough about either guy to.
Gotta pick them though. You gotta pick them. It's part of the game.
It's going to be a guess.
That's fine. It's 50-50.
You give me just a little bit. What are their stats? What's their...
No idea.
Oh, great. That's really helpful.
Do it based on the name. Do you like the name Lando or Bobby?
Let's go for Lando.
Go Lando. I'll go Bobby then.
Yeah.
I'll go whatever the opposite you do. And Kevin Holland, who I do know, versus
I would also think
Trevor Giles.
Holland.
You go in Holland, okay.
Yeah.
And I'll go the opposite. I'll go Trevin then. Trevin. I've got here Trevin Giles. That doesn't sound like Trevin. You ever heard that name? Trevin.
There's a lot of names in the UFC I've not heard before until I hear them here.
Trevin. Get lost. Your mum saw something on telly when she named you. Like, what's that? Trevin. I like that. Let's do that one. So let's go down the old card though. Let's just play our little game. So we're going to do the main event challenge, much like the Kenny Florian and John Anik one does. And at the end of whatever we do, whether we do it like a semester kind of style or end of a year, whatever. So like, for instance, Kenny Florian had to eat Vegemite, the Australian spread, and film it. That kind of, them kind of things. Or get a tattoo of my name and a heart. I mean, we're not afraid of getting them. So.
Not afraid.
Yeah, exactly. So, Robert Whittaker versus Darren Till. We both said Robert Whittaker.
Called it.
1 point each. Lovely. It's just main card as well. No matter if we've got a nice fight on the prelim, we cannot bet on the prelims on this. The co-main event, I said Shogun Rua. You said Mauricio. You said Minotauro Rodrigo Nogueira. 2 point me. 2-1. Third fight, we both said Gus. We both said Gus. You should have got that one, to be fair. We both said Gus, so no points there. So it's still 2-1.
We'll get an honourable point for the Lil Nog.
No. Carla Esparza versus Marina. I said Carla Esparza. You said Marina. 3-1.
This is also unfortunate because Rodriguez should have won that fight. This is not fair.
Paul Craig versus Gatsamurad Antigulov. You said Gatsamurad Antigulov. I said Paul Craig.
I was wrong.
4-1. Alex Oliveira versus Peter Sabota. We both said Alex Oliveira. 5-2. And then Khamzat Chimaev versus Reece McKee.
We both said Chimaev.
We both said Chimaev. 6.
Arguably, there's 2 points on that card that should have been mine.
Yes. Yes, it should have. It should have been about 5-4 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But after week 1, it is 6-3 going into week 2 now. Okay, so I have a 3-point lead. That's a good lead for the first week. So the next one will be
I'm going to
between
struggle to catch up.
Brunson, Edmen. I've gone underdogs this whole card, so I might fuck myself.
I hope you do.
Edmen, Brunson, Calderwood, both of us.
Both there.
Luke, both of us. Lando, Bobby.
Gone opposites for these two, yeah.
Kevin, Trevin. Trevin. Just name Trevin. I hope I've written that wrong because I hope it's Trevor and I've written it wrong. Trevin. If I ever meet this guy, I'm just going to be like, your name Trevin? Where'd you get that from? Never heard of that fucking name.
Why are you so hung up on this? It's just a name, man.
Say the word. Say it. Say his name.
Trevin.
How bad did that feel?
It's all right. It's not that bad.
It's all right.
My name's got 2 L's. Who am I to ask,
Lloyd.
Exactly.
Yeah, so not bad. Anything else you want to talk about?
That's it, really. I mean, we can talk about these fights in much more detail afterwards because we'll have experience of, seeing who they are. And then being able to give our opinion on what we saw, how we see them going in the future. Yeah.
I do want to say one more thing though before we do, and it's about Dan Hardy's response video to Herb Dean, which made me smile for the whole hour, including the part where he finished and he just went, "I'm done," and walked off. And I was like, "Oh, you G." Yeah. So Herb lied in his video. He lied, just blatantly lied. And I said in the last thing we did, I don't think he's a liar.
Prove it.
I don't think he's a liar. He fucking lied. He's like, I didn't know. I asked this person, did he say this? I asked this person, did he say? I'm like, no, you didn't, you fucking cunt. You lying cunt. Don't lie when there's footage against you. Paul Hardy's taken so much stick for this, so much stick. And he shows footage of Herb going settle down in the cage to Dan.
Yeah.
Okay, so that proves 50% of that video is bullshit already about Herb. Every other MMA journalist has backed Dan saying, good, we're glad there's not another yes man in there. If something bad happens, something happens, you need to shout it. He is also not mates with Jai Herbert. Someone said that. I even said it because I heard it. Automatically thought it was true. Shouldn't have done. But so many other journalists have said that as well. Oh, he's a friend of Jai Herbert. Dan said, I do not know him. He goes, just because I'm English,
they had a conversation once.
He's like, just because I'm English and he's English does not make it like I'm more personal to him. He goes, I'm looking out for every fighter. And he said, not to mention as well, he said, Paul Felder agrees with me on this. He also did not go up to Herb and start shouting at him. Herb came up to him, in which he responded, hey, I've got to go do my job. You do yours. He never sought this out. Herb sought him out. It backfired. He said he doesn't care if Herb made a mistake. We will make mistakes. But Herb's not admitting it and he's not going to learn from it. And then he shows 8 more videos where Herb fucked up big time of where he shouldn't have done and says it's not the first time. He's just not learning from it. And the fact that he's he's the gold standard of referee is nonsense. Yeah. Mark Smith's better. Rich Mitchell's better. Dan Migliotta's better. Mark Goddard's the best. All of those people are better than Herb Dean. A lot of people said, look, I'd still want Herb in my corner. And that's fair because like the hit rate he does is probably like 1 in 50 is a mistake. It's a very good record. But Goddard's like 1 in 100. And Rich Mitchell's like 175. It's that kind of thing. They all make mistakes. Of course they do. But they all go, Mark Goddard famously always goes, I hold my hands up. I shouldn't have done that. He accidentally touched Sam Alvey once in a fight and said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that because that means the fight's over. And it distracted him and then he got hurt. And he said, I'm so sorry. And he apologized. He said it was my mistake. I shouldn't have done it. Herb's just like, no, I didn't make a mistake. Not me. No, I can't do that. Don't do mistakes. He goes, it was Dan's fault. He goes, it's dangerous for him to shout out. And Dan said, never in the history of MMA has a commission shouted out to stop a fight. He knows that as well. And he said, and if they did, you are a shit ref. If a commission is telling you, who don't know fighting, if they're telling you to stop the fight, he said, you are crap. Yeah. It's like, I don't know how people can can hate against this. Some people said it was unnecessary to bring up old footage, and Dan said, no, it's not, because he had a go at me. So tit for tat, innit?
Yeah, and also,
and he hadn't slept in 2 days. He was like buzzing.
to back Hardy as well, for anyone who doesn't completely know who he is, I did say to you the other day in a text that I don't know anyone with a better CV to do his job. You know, Dan Hardy has not only been a fighter, is an incredible analyst. He's inside the business. He knows everything. Like everyone on the outside of the business, all the journalists and stuff that they're talking shit.
He also gets respect from the fighters as well.
Yeah.
Because they know what he's been through. They know he's fought in the industry as well. Like he hasn't fought for like Bellator. He's fought for the UFC. He fought for a title. He's been fighting. He's lost. He's got knocked out. He's won. He's nearly won a world title. He's everything.
I don't think there is anyone that looks at fights the way that Dan Hardy does. Like the way that he can break them down to the smallest of things. It's just incredible. Like the way he looks at it. And if you go and watch his video, to anyone that hasn't seen it, the way that he breaks down even the mistakes of a referee is insane. Like his attention to detail and
I think he should go into refereeing, personally. I think that'd be good. I think he's already done the Mark Goddard lesson, like the trainee lessons.
Yeah.
I think Mark said that he went on one of Mark's courses, but I think he should do it. Like Frank Trigg has. I think he'd be exceptional at it. I really do. But he's so good on the mic as well. A lot of people on Twitter were going, "Oh, Dan Hardy's shit on the mic." He's
a great personality.
The amount I've never seen since I've been on social media now doing this, I've never seen the amount of people going, "Oh, fair play to Dan, like he did stick up, but he's still a pussy." Like I'm like, why add that comment? Because you would never say this to people in real life. Like, do you know how good this guy is at fighting? Do you understand the level? The fact that he's been doing it at such a young age. People don't know he's a black belt in Taekwondo. That was the first thing he got his black belt in. Taekwondo. When have you ever seen him use Taekwondo? It's just hips. He uses it all now for hips, hip dexterity and leg kicks. You ever hit his shins? They're like mine. Sound like mahogany shins. It's the party trick. Yeah, you're in shins. But you know what I mean? It's like they don't understand. He was at the fucking Shaolin Temple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But because
also, Dan's own experience with, you could say psychedelics, psilocybin, anything else. That he hasn't got an ego.
No ego.
He may say he still has an ego. Everyone has a form. But he's not biased. He's not anything. Like, if you go and watch that fight, as soon as Jai Herbert hits the ground, he's cheering for Trinaldo, like instantly. And it's only because it doesn't stop then that he starts to become emotional and try and protect Jai Herbert.
If Herb doesn't watch back that fight and zoom into Jai's face and see his eyes are rolled back and he's staring here and Trinaldo is here and he's like this, frozen. One leg is flat to the ground, one leg is up, and Herb is staring at him going, keep going, let me just see his reaction. It's like Herb's just like smoking too much herb. He's got his own batch. He's just don't get him. I don't get them. Admit your mistake. No one would care. Just go, hey, I'm really sorry, Joe. I let you take them extra shots. That's it. Done. End of. Walk away.
Yeah.
That's it. But he won't even do that.
I hesitated in this situation.
You can't even do that. Like it shows weakness or something. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It shows you're learning. Everyone's learning, but I don't know. It makes me dislike Herb a little bit.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I don't trust Herb now. Whenever I see him ref, I'm like, you're not the gold standard. You're a silver now. And if you lie, you go bronze. Yeah, you go in a bronze, mate. You become a what's his face? Kevin Peterson. Dominic Cruz said he smelled of booze and cigarettes.
Maybe Herb is just sort of past his peak performance, in terms of referee. It happens to fighters. Why can't it happen to referees? He's just not paying as much attention.
You don't see old people in there.
Not seeing it. Yeah.
That might be why John stepped out as well. Big John.
We may be, for all disclosure, we may be Dan Hardy fanboys to an extent.
Well, I definitely am. You,
from a fight perspective especially. Me, I first time I saw him was as an analyst, and I have learned a lot about mixed martial arts because of Dan. And I'm still learning things because of Dan. In his video, him talking about that stiffing up position, you know?
Yeah, never heard of that.
Never heard of that.
I hadn't heard of it, but I knew when he did that, he was out still.
It was in his head.
That's in his head. It's all consciousness.
Fire shot.
Yeah.
Still learning stuff from Dan.
Yeah, it's hard for me to slate him, but I did say I don't think he should have shouted still. You know, I'm the person that has more photos of Dan Hardy in my flat than I do of me and my missus. But sitting here with my Dan Hardy action figure.
In
but
a full reptile t-shirt.
Exactly. So, but yeah. Sponsored by. No. One day. Talk to Owen. But yeah. I think that's it. I don't want to keep bringing up Herb Dean and Dan Hardy every podcast. It's been like 4 videos. I've made like 5 videos on it now, so I've mentioned it. It's an interesting subject.
It's still something that a lot of people are talking about. I will still defend Dan and say I don't think he was wrong by shouting out. You say he was. I don't think he was, because again, in my mind, I'm thinking of the audience and the noise and everything else. And in that moment, he was the one person willing to try and protect somebody. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think
if he shouldn't be, the ref should be. That's the point he was making. The ref didn't protect the fighter. He didn't do his one job. He endangered him. You don't need brain damage. You're doing a dangerous sport enough. It's competition. It's not. It's what he said. We're not out to hurt people. We're out to compete. Yeah. It's not about hurting someone. And it's like, that's a good thing. You should mention that to people that comment on my videos going, oh, you snowflake. It's a blood sport. And it's like, yeah, but not when a 4-piece combo to an unconscious body.
Lewis, all you got to do is ask for location.
Yeah, send location. Send location.
Send location.
And I shave off my moustache, yeah. If I sit like that, it could look bigger.
Send location.
The Kamzat or the Khabib? Khabib. Great name. And on that note, is it Trevin? Trevin means goodbye now. Trevin Giles for the win. We'll see everyone in the recap video, which will be, when's it on Sunday? So Monday, Tuesday when it's fresh, something like that. And then we'll record the next fight night after that. But yeah, thank you all for watching.
Nice one.
Peace.